कमल नयना हे माधव करुणा सागर कालिंगनर्तन करुणा सागर कालिंगनर्तन हे कृपा सिंधो कृष्णा हे कृपा सिंधो अनंत रूप अनंत नाम आदिमूला नारायण विश्वरूपा विश्वधारी
ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः Page number 207, third mantra in the fifth valli of Kathopanishad. ऊर्ध्वं प्राणमुन्नयति अपानं प्रत्यगस्यति मध्ये वामनमासीनं विश्वे देवा उपासते विश्वे देवाः उपासते. All the devas worship this who is seated in the center of our existence. What does he do? Pranam unnayati, apanam pratyagasyati. The air that we breathe in is responsible for all physiological activities within, both voluntary and involuntary. And it is because of this prana that moves around in 49 different specifications, 49 different kinds of physiological activities. We burn energy, and because of that, we have hunger and thirst. Therefore, whenever we sit in a puja and at the point of offering the food to the Lord, the Naivedya to the Lord, we have seen that the mantra that is chanted along with Bhur Bhuva Swaha, the Gayatri mantra, we chant Pranaya Swaha, Apanaya Swaha, Vyanaya Swaha, Udanaya Swaha, and then Samanaya Swaha, then Brahmane Swaha. Have you ever wondered why we are saying that all this food is going to the prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana? You're saying you're offering it to the Lord. So say Krishnaya Swaha, Vasudevaya Swaha, Devaki Nandanaya Swaha, if you're worshipping Krishna. If you're worshipping Devi Sri Matre Swaha, it should be to that God. Irrespective of who you are offering it to, we always say prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. As the individual has the hunger and thirst because of the movement of this prana in these 5 different layers, the 49 aspects of physiological activities are grouped under these 5 categories. Even in the totality, this prana shakti is what is fed to the Ishvara of the prana of the Ishvara. So what does prana do? The first part of the first category of this air that we breathe is called pranam, the life breath. The air that we breathe in brings in all kinds of gases, predominantly with oxygen. That is called the life breath. And what do the lungs do? It is their job to assimilate oxygen. Must be very intelligent fellows, intelligent chemists sitting inside, which very quickly, how many seconds does the air go in? About 10 seconds, 15 seconds on a normal level. Within that 10-15 seconds, it has to gather. So I'm imagining the lungs having minions, wherein as soon as the breath comes in, they're jumping onto the oxygen molecules and grabbing them and saving them inside the lungs. And just making sure that they don't come out, they cling onto the lung nerves and the air comes out. And my own caricature. So that oxygenating life breath is called prana. And what happens to this oxygen? It immediately is dissolved into the blood and is pumped across to various parts of the body, depending on which part of the body is making use of energy the maximum at that point. That is why soon after lunch we feel little drowsy. We yawn a lot. Why? Because most of the energy, most of the oxygen is being supplied to Madhya Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh feels vacant. Most of the energy is supplied. Maximum energy is required to assimilate, digest that digestive process. Therefore, it is advised that you sit in Vajrasana. Vajrasana, kneel down on your, not elbows, what do you call it? Knees. Kneel down on your knees and sit on your heels. Right, thank you. Sit down on your heels. That way, the energy going to different parts of the body is curtailed. That is called Shakti Bandhana. The Shakti which goes all over is Bandhana. You created a dam so that maximum energy flows, and in minimum time, the process of digestion begins, not impacting the other parts. And as the energy is released, what does this oxygen do? It combusts with that energy consumed, food consumed, it combusts. Miniature nuclear bombs are being released. It's at that level, nuclear level, wherein the energy is released. And that energy is supplied, supposing you are running, to the different parts that are involved. And sometimes we don't even realize, when you go into some hectic exercising pattern, and then you come back, and for the rest of the day a special part creates inconvenience because it is hurting there. It was that muscle which was being used, that group of muscles which were being used, and the energy had to be supplied, right? So this whole process begins with that prana shakti going in, that oxygen going in. That prana to come inside and to be utilized happens in whose presence? That is called Vamanam Asinam. Vamanam, that little fellow. Vamana means little. Vamana avatar, because he was short. So that little fellow, the flame of light that we discussed in the heart, he is the one who pulls the prana. Apanam pratyagasyati. And he is the one who works intelligently with the prana, that what is consumed is retained, and what is not wanted by the body is rejected from the body. All the processes of rejection, the process of excretion is also rejection. The air that we breathe in and it has done its purpose, it has to come out. That is also called apana. Supposing, and you have beautiful eyelashes, you have curled it, and what do you call those? A mascara. And you have enhanced it. It has those, they say it adds charm. I've seen it only work in Mickey Mouse, wherein, what is that lady Mickey? Minnie Mouse. Minnie Mouse standing in the balcony, and eyelashes, and Mickey Mouse starts floating. So it adds to the beauty of the eyes. So eyelashes, which were a part of the body, which was adding beauty to the body, one strand of hair loses its connection and falls in that very eye. Do you think the eye is going to give it a special consideration? That so far you have been adding my beauty, and Reja beta, be inside. No. As soon as some external object hits in, it is not separated from the body, it is considered as a foreign object. What does it do? It starts pumping out these tears to flush that which has become a part of our body, which is no more a part of our body. Pratyagasyati, that pushes, that which pushes out that which is not required. Madhye Vamanam Asinam. So here he is focusing about all the involuntary movement within the body. We dump so much into the bottomless pit called stomach, right? So much is going in. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, guaranteed. In between, some munchies, some snack here and there. Between the munchies, There is some coffee, there is some tea, there is some soda, there is, what else is there? Water, Bonvita, Horlicks, you add. As if that was not sufficient, in between those gaps again, you're chewing भैंस की तरह, सांड की तरह, chewing gum. Constantly these things are going in. And it is this Vamana, this Paramatma as the life principle, because of whose presence all these organs of perception action, especially the involuntary ones wherein we are not involved, are functioning meticulously. There is so much stress, so much trauma that the body goes through, inadvertently the things that we do. Like for example, the body temperature is to be maintained at 37 degrees Celsius. And then we dump in cold water. It's already coming out cold. On the top of it, we add full ice. Why? It feels nice. Now, the trauma that the body has to go through is it has to immediately raise the temperature of that water consumed to come to the body temperature. Immediately it has to raise. So much of energy that is being consumed to bring it to that balance. And there are some that I see as experts that it has to be from the pan into the glass, no, directly into their mouth. They can drink extremely hot. Do you think the stomach can handle that? No, it has to pull it down again to 37 degrees. And it's doing a thankless job. Under whose supervision is all these things happening? Each one of these organs that are functioning are presided by a presiding deity. The eyes are presided by Chandra Surya. The nostrils are presided by Ashwini Kumaras. The ears are presided by the Dig Devatas. The tongue is presided by fire. That's why when you speak, they call fiery speech. Now, each one of these organs is pervaded by, invoked by, blessed by these gods. And why are they worshipping this Vamana inside? Why are they being so thankful to him, to that consciousness? Because of whose presence all these involuntary organs are maintained in their balance. Even if one aspect of this balance goes off its mark, sometimes we don't know, but these vitamins, there are certain vitamins like the D or E, and it goes down. I don't know, I'm feeling so restless, I'm feeling so tired. And who keeps all that in balance? Is this principle of consciousness, without whose presence this beautiful body, the way it functions, all the aspects of it as it functions, which we are probably clueless about as a common man, unless you studied in depth about that particular subject. In today's world, they study only that part. And I'm only a nose specialist, I'm only an ear specialist, I'm only the teeth specialist, I'm only the bone part of the teeth specialist, I'm the gum part of the teeth specialist. Specialization, when you go with some other thing, they say, I'll take you to the other doctor. Maybe pretty soon they'll be like ear specialist, and you go there and say, no, I am the right ear, left ear is the next door. You specifically study about it and you become aware of it. Otherwise, for the common man, these things happen. Who is keeping them in balance? That awarefulness, that because of the presence of this consciousness, every aspect of our existence is maintained in balance. That who maintains this balance is called God, is called Paramatma, is the self within. And one of the best methods to bring that balance is through the prana. Why? One, it happens involuntarily. Second, there is no doership involved. The moment you become aware of that breathing, you drop the doership and you come into the presence of being. Thankful, right? That breathing, Bhagavan has kept things very clear. There was this fellow sleeping under a banyan tree. Have you seen a banyan tree? It's huge. And in that huge tree, have you seen its fruits? They're small, this size. And this fellow sleeping there under the tree was thinking, Bhagavan, you don't have a clue as to how to be proportional about this creation. If I were you, I would not have had such small fruits on this big tree. Look at the tender creeper of the watermelon and the other melons. It's so tender, it's so delicate, and to them you have given such big fruits. And this is a huge tree which can handle that weight. And you have given such small fruits. What kind of disproportionate world? Thinking thus, he fell asleep. When he woke up, he saw those fruits, ripe ones, had fallen all over him, all over around him. Then immediately he thought, Bhagavan, you definitely know the proportions. Because instead of these small ones, if there were those big things and if they had fallen, there is one particular tree, it is called Anantanaga or Seshanaga. It has a shriveling kind of a internal thing. It doesn't have any nectar in it. It has just pollen. And it is pinkish, yellowish. It has a strange smell to it. Once the flower is done, the fruit that comes is really big. And it's a hard shell. That the tree is nicknamed as cannon tree. That if you're by mistake under that tree and it falls, it hits you like a cannon. So this fellow said, Bhagavan, you know better. That you know how that proportionality has to be maintained. So lucky, right? He did not give breathing as a responsible chore. Because he knew human beings are kamchor. They will not be able to handle this chore. Otherwise, human population would not have exploded like this. Suddenly, while talking, walking, thop, what happened? Oh, nothing. I think he forgot breathing. How many times do we not forget eating? How many times do we not forget simple things? Lucky, he has taken breathing to himself. The various such things that he has kept involuntarily and they are functioning. Do we ever wonder who is regulating them all? That who regulates even that prana, the subtlest of such happening, is that consciousness. So what is the best bridge that connects us to that consciousness quickly and instantly? Is breathing. So much so that even the athletes on the field, I'm sure you have been to a football game, a basketball game. Have you been to one? Like what 30,000, 50,000 people sitting there? Each one is crazily pumped up. And to add to that craziness, they are given those clippers, what do you call it? Whatever, you see those, cut. And on the top of it, there is this music. I went to this AT&T stadium. It's 150,000 watts of sound output. So when they are playing that music, and usually there's that that thumping sound. We will rock you. Dog 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 dog. It almost feels like somebody is sitting next to your heart and pumping it there. That sound. And when you come to the three-pointer, it's not three-pointer, the two-pointer foul, free throw, man, everybody is crazily shouting. One side is shouting boo, the other side is saying go, go. First time I went to a game and I saw people shouting go, go. I said, why are they being so hostile? In my desi mind, I was thinking go, go means, ja, ja, get out. And then I understood, go, do it. Everybody is screaming. Amongst that, this fellow has to find that concentration. I'm not talking about people like Shaq. He never can. Any other decent player. You know what they are taught at that point? To focus on their breathing. If you are in anxiety, if you are in fear, if you are in stress, the first thing that one has to focus on is breathing. Breathe slowly. The moment you breathe, the mind calms down and we transcend the mind temporarily to connect with this source who is sitting right in the middle. And if we can make it in non-disturbing environment as a practice, and if we can connect to that at a deeper level, bring that peace, bring that silence, bring that overpowering presence of that divinity within into every walk of life, that is called meditation in practice. Right now, how many of you are aware of your breathing? I'm not talking about knowing that you breathe, aware at this point. If we can be aware of it while functioning, we would see that mind would never get distracted. Why? That is one thing that connects, the bridge that connects directly to that inner essence. Therefore, the example taken, urdhvam pranamunnayati apanam pratyagasyati madhye vamanam asinam. Staying there in the middle balances everything. As he balances the vyashti, the individual, he balances the samashti with equal ease. Now continuing forward. Asya visram samanasya sharirasthasya dehinaha dehad vimucyamanasya kimatra parisishyate ye tadvaitat asya visramsa manasya sharirasthasya dehinaha. When this principle of life, when this principle of consciousness separates itself from the body, what is left in that body? Even those who are in deep love, association, attachment with that person through that body, once dead, don't we say, wo gaya? Were we related to that body? Were we attached to the body? We were attached to that life principle which was functioning through that body. Now, if you understand this, Will there be any kind of snobbish behavior based out of race? Does it really matter what color skin? If the water bottle is transparent, if the water bottle is colored, does it change the water inside? If it was blue, if it was black, if it were red, does it change the water? It's just an outer wrap containing it. That who is enlivening it. Now take it a little beyond human body. Every being throbs with this life force. Now when you look at this shloka, this mantra from a bhakti perspective, if suppose there is somebody that you really admire, greatest of the great, legend of his time, and you really admire that person for that sport or that play or that movie, whatever it is, and you were standing by, passed by you, turned around and grabbed your flyer or whatever you are holding it and signed, what would you do with it? Yeah. And leave? Or protest? How dare you? Did you ask my permission to do this? What would you do with that signed copy? Frame it? Preserve it? One day I was in somebody's house. This little kid was a fanatic cricket lover. And there was a book. And it was in the place where they had offered me to sit. It was there in that place. So it was like a book. So I just picked it up and just threw it on the coffee table. So this little kid, must be about 4th grade, comes to me with his hands on his hip. Do you know what it is? Do you really know what it is? And you should see that furious face. I was like, that is why. That is why. And he goes all animated on me. And then he brings that book and he shows me Tendulkar signed, moves, Sehwag signed, and he moves. Do you know his stats? Do you know his score? Do you know his? All those people have signed, and you just throw it away. I said, my apologies, sorry. I took that book and kept it on my head and I said, thank you. Like that. Somebody, a mortal, signed a page and we have so much of respect, adoration that we think it is priceless. Every creature, every living being, bird, animal, plant, human, throbbing, enlivened with that consciousness who is my Lord, my beloved, who is in every form. If we have understood this concept, even intellectually, how would our behavior be towards that Lord in that form? To instill this bhava, our ancient rishis have embedded that aspect in our culture. It is not our practice to say good morning. It is not our practice to shake hand, but instead fold the hands, bring your total being into that present moment in saying namaste. We do namaste, namaste, but kuch nahi samajhte. What is that act of namaste? Namaha te. Te, unto you, that Paramatma, that Lord in you, this salutation is being offered. If this be said in a present tense with the karta, with the doer, the sentence should have been aham te namaskaromi. But aham and namaskaromi is removed because this ahankara is not important. What is important is the salutations that are offered, and what is important is to the one that is being offered to. Therefore, te, unto that divinity, namaha, these salutations. I ain't matter. This ahankara doesn't matter. It is not a part of that equation. Anybody coming to the house, what is the first thing that we are often taught? Get up. Why? You are inviting that Lord in that form into your house. The parents tell the kids, get up. And he is like lousily lying there. What? Why? What's the big deal? And cutting such a awkward figure there, the parents, they finally practically lift him up and why are they so obsessive about it? They may not know the reason, but the aspect behind is that Lord in this form has come. Therefore, you show that reverence. You offer water. You offer something to eat, something to drink. So much it is embedded that even if it is your shatru, your enemy, whatever you have to settle down, you have to settle down in the battlefield. But when they are at your house, you still treat them as that Paramatma in that form. When both Duryodhana and Arjuna had come, we know that scene, right? Duryodhana arrives first and he feels belittled sitting at the feet. So he sits at the head. So Bhagavan says, thank you. He's watching all this with a little squint eye. Okay. And then Arjuna comes. He sits at the feet. And he opens his eyes and said, hey Arjuna. Duryodhana protests. What? I was here. Oh, sorry. Hi, Duryodhana. But technically, it depends on who I saw first. I saw him, so the offer goes to him. After this deal is done, both of them are offered food, hospitality, and Bhagavan Krishna himself serves them both. This is after when? After the point where Bhagavan Krishna had gone as an ambassador on behalf of Pandavas to Duryodhana to ask for 5 villages. If not 5 villages, 5 houses. If not 5 houses, 1 house which could accommodate all these 5. That Duryodhana who had said, I would not give the space that would be accommodated on the tip of a needle. And that Duryodhana who tried to assassinate this Krishna just about few days ago. And how many attempts? 2 attempts to assassinate him. That Duryodhana who orchestrated this, who executed this plan to kill Bhagavan Krishna, knowing very well that he was trying to be after his life. What does Bhagavan Krishna do? Offers him food, and it was not like, "Ego khana khilao, chal le jao, take them, feed them something." No. He brings them to the food chamber and serves food personally. Bhagavan himself reverence to that principle of consciousness, even if it is an enemy standing. These subtle aspects nobody catches. Why was Krishna with 16,000 women? तेरे को क्या है? Why are you so jealous? These funny things we catch. The amount of balance that is required to treat an enemy who has tried to assassinate you with utmost honor. Don't they say usually when the mothers are ticked off and they are serving food, then they're constantly scolding. So don't the elders sitting there say, don't scold while eating. Why? Because it is the most reverential act, even though it is your own child, even though it is your own son or daughter. It is that Paramatma who is being fed. Therefore, do not scold while eating. The parents, though, it is like a captured moment. Bhagega kahan? Having now put the food in front of him and now he has started eating it. Where will he run? Cannot abscond. Chalo, pakdo. So what is the insistence? What is the thing that is taught? That is not the time to pick on, because it is the highest reverential act to serve that God in that form personally. Even if it is feeding your dog or a cat or whatever that you are petting along, with that reverence. And Gurudev was a step further. It is not even the sentient beings. Even with the insentient beings, insentient things, there are no more beings, the insentient things, he would deal with such utmost care that every aspect of this has helped me worship that Lord. So it cannot be taken trivial. Because there is not a single ounce and single concept where that Paramatma is not pervading. When this concept gets embedded, can I get jealous of someone? Can I be showing my animosity towards anyone? Can I be belittling anyone? Can I be mocking and insulting anyone? Because who would I be insulting, mocking and belittling? It is that Paramatma in that form. So you put on a makeup. There are these pranks that people play, wherein they put on that makeup and go for, I saw this interview of this athlete, I don't know, basketball player or who. So he puts on this changed makeup and he goes into the street. What do you think of him? Who was that? That fellow. Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce it. So he goes and they are like slamming him down. That fellow, he used to know his limits. And he is like eating his humble pie and listening to all this. They don't know that it is him that they are speaking to. And he removes his makeup. Because the reality is revealed. And now they are freaking out that they spoke to that very person, belittling him. Similarly, Paramatma is there in every form, in different disguises. I'm not saying take a Arati Thali and Puja and a Mala and then every person that you meet put a Pushpa Mala, we wash the feet and then do Arati. Jai Jagadish Hare. No, please don't do that. There's definitely a certain place in every town for such people. In comic books, we call it as Arkham. It's an asylum. Dude, where did you grow up, man? Don't know what is Arkham? Sit with me for lunch, dinner. You will be educated on that. Every city has place for such people. We're not talking about an exaggerated effort, but the bhava, the attitude. That I can never afford to be flippant with any individual. They may be mad at you. They may be showing their animosity to you. They may have misunderstood you. They may have done the most atrocious things to you. That is between them and him. That has got nothing to do with you. Eliminate yourself out. And when you have to treat them, it is not to show them how somebody has to be treated. That is not the attitude either, to rub it into their face. Pata hai, aisa karna chahiye. Na. It is from the standpoint and the purity that it is to that Paramatma in there that I am worshipping. Now, with this attitude, can we become egotistical maniacs? Isn't this implicitly developing humility? The power of this humility is such that however adamant, arrogant the other person be, enveloped in this humility, covered by your humility and compassion, they will come down. It may take a little while, but they will come down. As they say, in time, change comes. No, not in time. In love, in compassion, in humility alone, change can happen. But the start should be from me. And the intensity of attitude is that I am interacting with that Paramatma in every form. That is the bhava of this particular mantra. Etat vaitat. If we are talking about spirituality, this is spirituality. If you sit in the temple, if you sit for meditation, if you do your japa 100 million times, and if you've not brought this simplicity in your life, in interaction with others, all that which you have done, bhaad mein jaye, gone to dogs. That doesn't mean a squat. It has to be transcending that space in developing this humility in reaching across. And when I say the entire world has to be treated like this, don't get overwhelmed. Start with those people that you consistently interact with. How many people do you interact with on a daily basis? The same faces again and again. How many? Average. I'm not talking of those incidentals for whom you have to, like him, he has to give medicines. Maybe 100 of them coming, but they're once in. But in running that entire structure, how many that you constantly interact with? 40 people? 20 people? How many? Give me a number. 10 people. 10 people max. Now all that when they are saying, continue this with the world around you, how many are we talking about? What is your world around you? These 10 people. And what is the most, the irony in here? It is these 10 people that we take for granted. It is these 10 people that we are, in our animalistic pattern. And then say, I have to serve the world. Baad mein. First try to reach out to this immediate circle. Then expand beyond. Then it will become easier. If that who is right immediate around you, you can't take care, you can't communicate, you can't cooperate, you can't coordinate, you can't relate. Now, what are you talking about? Universal brotherhood. I don't believe in this religious institutionalization. I believe in that one common thing, and I come down. Talk about reality. Where are you? Relate from that corner where you are, and then develop. To talk some idealistic things is easy. Any no-brainer can talk about it. But if you truly mean it, start from that immediate circle. That is what worshipping your entire world as Paramatma would boil down to. Ye tad vai tad. This is called spirituality. We'll continue next week. Any questions? Oh, no questions at all? Think through. Have? Don't ask just because I have given you an opportunity.
Like, let's say you're communicating with your world and you're trying to keep them in order, but they don't, they don't do the same thing, they don't reciprocate. Do you keep doing it and see no result in them? Or
Did I ever say that it is for finding a result in them? It is your attitude that matters, whether they reciprocate or not. Bhagavan Krishna did not treat Duryodhana because he treated him the other way. देख ऐसा करना चाहिए. He treated him because of his conviction that there is Paramatma being treated. Did he reciprocate? No. But did it matter to him? No. That is why I took that specific example. Any questions online? Yes, go ahead. Yes, there are definitely patterns in with each relationship that we have around. We have, whether we say it out loudly or not, we have a circle of people that you implicitly trust. You don't just love them, you don't just respect them, but there is that intense trust that you would stand by, that, what do you say, with life, with your life, you trust them that implicitly. So there's one kind of pattern there. Then there are those whom you admire them, you like being in their presence, but they're not in your inner circle. Not that you don't want them to be, but it never had happened. So there is a pattern there. Then there is that circle wherein you are friends, you share some good moments, but may not share everything. Third pattern. Fourth pattern, you are not, the presence or absence doesn't bother you, but if they are there, you are friendly. The other layer. I mean, like this, if you can develop the patterns in each relationship, you can start seeing these patterns. And with each pattern, one has to evolve to the next step. Any questions online? Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.